So Unit 4 is looking at a number of things, but again, there are no essential resources for this unit. As with the other units, it recommends practice got to relate to knowledge and understanding of the practical experience that you have, yeah?
Yeah.
So, when it looks at define the concept of professionalism, what is it? It's not something tangible, is it really? It's not something you can lay your finger on. It's a number of things, yeah?
Mm.
It's the way you react to people. It's the way you influence others. It's the way that you follow procedures and policies and so forth, and make sure that you act in a professional manner. Yeah. So it's not something hard and fast. You can say that's professionalism. It's a whole bunch of things that put. It's an attitude, I suppose. Yeah. It's an attitude of mind and a way of looking at things to try and produce the best that you can produce. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's looking at what professionalism is. It's a certain amount of autonomy. It's a code of conduct. It's the roles and responsibilities that you've got. Concept of leadership. Every teacher is a leader to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're leading a group. National bodies, any professional standards bodies that you may have, professional recognition. People in certain jobs are called professionals, yeah? But it's where do you start and finish that? Would you not say that an expert plasterer or bricklayer or engineer was not a professional? That's his job, yeah? His job is to produce the work that he does to the best of his ability, and most people do, and that's the professional manner. Dual professionalism is, I said this before, and I was speaking to Ben, it is different, but it's in concept, it is no different, yeah? If you previously had a job or a specialist area that you were qualified in and professional in, and you developed a professionalism within that sphere, yeah? Yeah. How is that different to the teaching one? It isn't. It's that intangible thing that I was talking about. It's a series of ways that you present yourself to others to do a particular job of work to the best of your ability by following guidelines, codes of practice, and acting in a professional manner. So it's not a thing, like I said, it's not a solid thing. It's an idea as much as anything else, or an image. Because that's when you've discussed those, obviously, defining the concept, yeah? Explain ways in which your own professional values influence your own practice and area in your area of specialism. What you do and why you do it that way, yeah? Yeah. And what you hope to achieve by doing a particular thing that way, yeah? So when we move on to, I'm going to put that one to one side. For some reason, my taskbar is not working tonight. I'm just going to have to open up each one individually. Oops. Reopen you up again. So yes, you've said it covers a range of frameworks dependent on age-relating teaching. Well, not necessarily, but it's the same sort of thing. You will act in a different manner with different levels of people that you deal with. How you react to other people, whatever their level or age group, yeah? The accuracy of conduct of the teaching professional standard, yeah, that's fine. The idea of professionalism is that, and this you've got it there, the idea of professionalism, yeah? Because it is an image or an idea more than a tangible thing, yeah? perceived as a streamline within the educational system that enables practitioners to have the same values, goals, missions, aims and ethos to carry out their role at a certain level and standard. Yeah. You've given some examples here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at government bodies, benchmarking assessment criteria for teachers tend to follow the scheme, and this information is collated to. Yeah. If you want to pass on, do also be yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Hang on, you just fiddle that about. There you are. Yeah, following a code of conduct. Experience. Yeah. That's okay. Now this is a bit I had an issue with before. Which bit have you changed here?
I kind of just started again from there, going all the way down.
Right, okay. Well, that's okay up to now, so let's just delete that command. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Got a few silences here, just while I read through some of those paragraphs, that's all.
Yeah, no.
Best practice in teaching and learning, that's okay. Yeah, this is that last bit, you got it there. It's how we carry ourselves, how we actually, the image that we present, yeah? At all levels. So we'll go with that. Oh, hang on. Oh. CPD. That'll do. Good.
I finally got it, did I?
Yeah, you've got that. In fact, that last bit on what's his name, they put ample work in there. There's plenty of material in there. That's fine. And these hyperlinks you put in?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay, we can drop back from that now. That is.
One question over.
Right, those two were achieved. I'll write that in afterwards, okay.
Yeah.
So, explain ways in which social, political and economic factors influence educational policy. And that is, economic factors is, any time we've got like now where cuts are being made all over the place to try and reduce the outgoings of the government, it has an effect on what you can produce with the facilities that you've got now. It may be that you have to cut back on resources. It may, you know, those are the sort of things it's looking at on there. And if you bring me, oh, hang on, just let me put that to one side. For some reason, it isn't going back. This is the problem. I'll have to find out what's up with that tomorrow.
So that's what I was thinking. So for economic, I would do the cuts for the government, meaning less resources in schools, TAs being shared between classes and things like that, not investing in CPDs or training as a whole school or for inclusion.
Exactly.
And then for social, I would do something about the areas that people live in. And
well, you've got some good ideas on here, if you look at them. Social factors, raising standards, promoting widening participation. The need group. Yeah?
I was thinking like when we do programs for parents, so we can teach them English so they can help their children.
And the other way around. We've got students who have come in from other countries whose children are at school and are helping them with their English. Works both ways, yeah. But yeah, there's some good ideas. Social factors, looking at the need group and how we actually engage them. Yeah.
Engaging the community into children's learning, isn't it?
Well, certainly into any of the younger group that are not in education or training, part of that need group. There are several, what do we call them, schemes put in place to try and bring them back into the educational field. Some of them have been successful, some less successful. But you can look, if you go into NEET, you'll see some of the things that have been put in place on there to try and address that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Responding to impact of migration and immigration and supporting local initiatives as well. One of the things that recently happened is that the adult education budget, which was central, has now been devolved into the areas, so that local areas can decide where they're going to put that money to help people engage in education.
Yeah.
Political factors we've just discussed, economic growth, prosperity agenda, influence of national events on educational policy, and of course, to a certain extent, political influence on policy as well. Bringing out academies, going back to grammar schools, all those sort of things, yeah?
Yeah. Federations, isn't it?
Yeah. Economic factors, local employment needs, identifying and addressing. Economic and social factors quite often go together.
Yeah.
And so it's looking at regional skills gaps, establishing links with commercial and business activities, getting employers involved, and one of the advantages of the apprentice scheme, as it was that the young person was actually employed from day one.
Yeah.
They were getting a wage, not very much, but I mean, apprentices never did. But at the end of the day, they're gaining skills and qualifications which will be with them for life. So, economic and social factors running together, the impact of globalisation on business needs, responding and evaluating to priority sectors, changing workforce, demographics, encouraging investment. Those are most of the issues that you'll cover in 2.1. Okay. Again, it's an explanation. You're not having a deep analysis here, so you can cover each of the sectors, quite I won't say briefly, but you can cover them. You don't need to go into too much detail on there. Just need to cover some of the areas that are on here. Yeah.
A paragraph each. Is that enough?
Sorry.
A paragraph for each factor.
Yeah, a paragraph. That's probably enough just to actually represent what you want to say on those issues. Some maybe a little more if you've got something you want to particularly say about something. Yeah. Because don't forget, coming back, this is yours. It's your. You can have a view on the effects of political interference or of political factors, or you could have a view on economic factors and what's wrong with that. You might have a sort of an axe to grind in any of those areas. By all means, use it. Say what you think on there. Yeah. 2.3, you want an analysis now on the impact of current educational policies on curriculum practice in your own area. Yeah? Yeah. The impact of policy on curriculum, creating curriculum framework, programs of study, raising school age, promoting literacy and numeracy, promoting vocational qualifications, learning for employment, wider skills. Impact of policy on practice, for example, assessment of learning through standardisation of qualifications. This is what allows the type of learning that you are doing now, we are doing here, in that we can use technology at a time that suits best to bring forward an aim for what you want to achieve. So looking, setting targets and having a standardisation of qualification. If you think about it, the awarding bodies that offer the qualifications, it's NCFE in your case in this one, their qualifications are set by a sector skills council and they are assessed by Ofqual and made sure that they're fit for purpose. They cannot alter any of the wordage in there. They have to be exactly the same, and that allows for a wider scope for training providers and colleges to develop those and to bring in students to achieve those standards and qualifications, because they know where they stand then on a register. Like this is a level 5, yeah, which is bachelor's level, yeah.
Yeah.
Requirements for quality assurance and improvement of QI. Yeah, all of the work that is done to those standard qualifications is quality assured, because at the end of the day, when the work has been assessed, your work has been assessed by me, it will be checked, or some of it will be checked by somebody else to make sure that I've made a fair assessment of your work across the qualification. They'll take a sample here and there to maintain that quality, not just for you and the organisation, but also for the awarding body to maintain the standard of the qualification. Yeah. So 2 is fairly straightforward. It's explain ways in which social, political, and economic factors influence educational policy, and then the impact of current educational policies on the curriculum practice in your own area. Yeah? Yeah. Because he's actually said it the same here. This could also be an explanation of an issue on any policy that directly impacts you personally. Yeah, that's what I said. You can bring things out in this that there are issues to you. Yeah, may not be to other people, but they are to you. Yeah. Are you hearing me okay? I've noticed it's creaking a bit.
No, I'm hearing you. My side's really loud. I put the volume on 100%.
Hey, Ben. You're quiet.
Yeah.
We ain't got no sound. You're locally muted at your end, Ben. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Ah, I can hear you now.
There we go.
I couldn't hear you. Yeah, I'm sorry now. I'm just running through I've come on earlier with Deepa because she's running a little bit behind you. So I'm just covering some of the aspects of the next stages of Unit 4. We'll go on to the other one as soon as I've finished with Deepa. Is that okay?
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
if you need 5 minutes, take 5 minutes, yeah?
Okay.
So it's 3.1, explain the role of stakeholders and external bodies in educational training. So these are internal staff, senior management, parents, students, awarding organisations, employers, a whole host of things there, the different roles, and then use the context of the type of impact on your place of work. You may need to find out more about your own organisation, yeah? So you may need to get some more information. Like I've said, that your quality person is usually the person to have a look at on there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Roles, building expertise, specialist staff. You've already mentioned some of those specialist staff earlier, haven't you, on LO1, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, who you deal with. But any other things that you use as well? Marketing, sponsorship or grants, any finance or work experience and progression that's allowed within the establishment that you're working in, yeah?
Yeah.
Or any partnerships that they've got with other organisations. That's worth finding out on, because if you can find that you do work in partnership with anybody else, whether it's an employer, whether it's another school, whatever it is, keep it under your belt because you're going to need it for Unit 11, yeah?
Okay.
3.2, explain how being accountable to those stakeholders and internally impacts on the organisation and the education and training. So the impact of accountability, meeting targets, under pressure, yeah? Qualified and experienced staff, policies and procedures, clarity of reporting, national standards, vocational standards, offering nationally recognised qualifications. Most of the, all of the schools that go through GCSE, at the end of it, they will be given by a specific awarding body, yeah? Because there's standard qualifications right across the country. Again, how being accountable to other stakeholders. So if you've got a partnership, that will be another stakeholder that you could be interested in exploring to find out what they do and what the involvement is, yeah? Staff development for professional or vocational updating. One of the things you're doing this course for is to achieve QTLS, yeah? That's staff development. Explain why it's important to work in partnership with employers and other stakeholders in education and training. Now this can step a little bit away from, if you've got any case studies where you've done this before or been involved with this before, that's fine. But if you've not, sometimes most schools will have some sort of relationship with the career service, yeah, at some stage, and that will be involve, people going out to there and people coming in to find out what's being done, and curriculum is sometimes altered because of information that comes backwards and forwards like that as well. Any freelance tutors that work directly with students in different organisations.
Yeah.
One of our... Sorry?
Sports.
I didn't hear that.
Would you say sports, freelance tutors, so sports?
Yeah. Different freelance tutors that come in for different things. Adele is working away at the moment, but one of her, that's her job. She's what they call a peripatetic music teacher that goes in to teach a range of children, some SEN as well, but purely just on music, yeah? She works within about 5 or 6 different schools. So 3.4 is looking at the impact on yourself, on the personal impact of being accountable to stakeholders. I mean, you've looked at how the impact in the earlier bit. You looked at the impact on organisations of being accountable to stakeholders, the impact personally on the teachers of having that accountability to other people or other sectors, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's an impact on curriculum design, meeting the needs of stakeholders, any tailor-made programs. That's usually in where companies require specific training, and they will have tailor-made programs from nationally accredited units, yeah, but specifically made up to suit the particular company. Opportunities for progression, national standards, integrating wider skills, the use of new and developing technologies, and the impact of delivery and assessment, etc. It's time can be an issue when you've got so much going into a particular qualification or a particular curriculum. It's making sure there's time for reflection, there's time for assessment, yeah, because those are all part of the cycle that we need to make sure that the standard of things is meeting the awarding organisation standards. Alternative approaches to assessment, rigorous management of assessment and quality assurance procedures. So again, your QA person can fill you in on what the QA procedures are.
Yeah.
It mentioned there alternative approaches to assessment. Sometimes, if the work is not coming in too well, one of the things you can do at this level is something called professional discussion.
Yeah.
Where you can actually, I can take a unit, build a question and answer list for that particular unit, and cover large parts of it purely on a discussion session around that around that Q&A. Excuse me, croaking again. So I'm not going to go beyond 3, 4, yeah.
Yeah, that's no
because the 2's not bad. Just the 2, 1 and 2, 2, yeah. And it's fairly straightforward on that. I think we've covered that pretty well. 3 is looking at the impact and accountability of stakeholders and external bodies in education and training. The detail is in this list here, and you can write your pieces with regard to those from the ideas you've got on here. You don't need to cover everything that's on here, yeah. It's just to give you some ideas of where to go that will match up nearer to what you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions for me on that bit?
No.
Are you okay with that now?
Yeah.
So what I'll do, I'll leave you to do that. I'll send you the assessment back, yeah. Now I've cleared that LO1 tonight now. Just carry on with 2 and 3 and let me have those as soon as you've got them done.
Okay,
if you've got any queries in the meantime, obviously, give me a text or send me a mail and I'll respond to that.
Okay, fine.
Okay?
Alright, thanks, Phil.
Right, Deepa. See you next week.
Okay.
Or in between. Bye now.
Right, okay, bye-bye.
Oops, well, viewer 2 coming up. Where have you gone? Hi Ben, you back?
Hi.
Sorted. Right, I can just close these down. My taskbar's having a fit for some reason tonight. It's not storing stuff for me to keep bringing it back. So I'm going to close everything down and open it up again. Just a second. Delete. Delete. Okay. There you go. Oh, cancel. Well, where is it then if it's open?
Yeah.
So all my taskbar down this side here has vanished. Cancel. Come on. Cancel. Something's holding us up
It's
here.
just stuck in it.
Yeah, it's not something definitely adrift tonight on here. I don't know why. It started off okay. I had everything stored down the side here. Yeah. And then for some reason it's gone off. Whether I've closed anything by mistake.
Oh, it's really got stuck.
Yeah. Holding it up. No. Sorry about this. It's obviously doing something. I don't know what the hell it's doing.
Maybe try and close Microsoft Word.
Maybe what, Ben?
Try and close Microsoft Word.
Well, I can't because it's vanished.
Try pressing Alt and Tab.
Try what?
Alt and Tab.
I'm not hearing you.
One sec. Try Alt and Tab.
Done something. A big fleck.
It's not doing what I thought it was going to do, though.
It's doing something. I've got a big flickering X now on the box.
That's weird. Can you click on the X?
Not having any effect at all. Just having no effect at all, is it?
No.
Right, well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Ben. Just hang on, give us 2 or 3 minutes. I'll shut down and open up again, yeah?
Yeah, no worries, mate.
No, not letting me do that. I'll have to do it the other way. Right, Ben, I'm back. Are you? Hi, Ben. We're back. Everything's back again now. I've got my taskbar back. I don't know what happened to it before, but it's back at last. Okay, I'll just open up the... is it Chrome that's causing the problem? Oh, so far, so good.
There we go.
Right. Zoom down to Unit 8. Yeah.
So I've done 1.3
Yeah.
and started 2.1. Yeah, 2.1.
Quick look. Here we are. Suggested evidence. Got Gremlin tonight, definitely.
Maybe it's Microsoft Word.
I'm not sure what it is, whether I've got a problem with the incoming. It's usually ultra rapid, mine. Document recovery. Don't want it, go away. Right, that's better. Here we are. So, I want to put that to one side a minute, and this is where it went all wrong before. Hang on. Just to move it to the bottom while I open your folder up. So, that's your page ready for coming on. Right, okay. With your name on it, etc. So, we've looked at the principles underpinning resource selection and learning in learning and development in your own particular area. Yeah, analyze factors that are important when developing and preparing those resources that excuse me, that conform to national legislation and organisational policies.
So
and evaluate the contribution
for that one.
Yeah.
1.2. I put like health and safety as one.
Yeah, definitely.
As like the first one, like whether it's actually valid, and then
because if you're setting up equipment of any sort, there's some sort of risk assessment to be done with regard to who is using it as well. It depends. If you've got people any vulnerable person that may not understand some of the dangers involved in using technical equipment. Obviously, the risk assessment will be different for them. Yeah, but they're definitely factors when preparing resources that conform to national legislation and organisational policies. Organisational policies will include that sort of thing. That if certain people are going to use equipment, then there need to be somebody qualified there that knows how to use it in charge of them, and also any risks that have been identified, that makes sure that those are nullified by the tutor within that particular class. So that's quite valid.
What about cost as well?
Have you sent it through for this, Ben?
No, I've only started it today.
Right, okay. I was just going to say, I've been catching up on some IQA this last weekend, so I might have missed some, that's all.
No, I've not sent it yet. This is what I mean. I started it today because I had some time. So I put cost in as well, because obviously working in a small place and a big place, small place needs to know that they're going to get like more than their money's worth, basically. And the big place is like, we've got budget, so it's worth it.
Again, all those are factors.
How many should talk about?
2 or 3, no more. That's quite sufficient. It's looking at just analyse each of those 3 factors and what the effect those have. Yeah. And you've just mentioned a couple now already, which is
I've got those.
You've done the analysis in your head to some degree. Yeah. And again, the evaluation of what the contribution of technology to the development of learning and development resources, particularly in newer area, it's quite it's probably more. It's probably made more contribution than almost anything else in the last, certainly in the last 20 years, anyway.
So what I've actually spoke about in that one is one part of it is like network computers and people being able to get their work from different places to allow them different access to different resources. And then the other one was things like the Apple schools where they all have an iPad. And the teacher can see everybody's screen. And like send them like, right, this is the form now that you're gonna like fill out, or whatever it is, this is the exercise. And they can see who's struggling or who's doing well, and then like give them support.
Again, it's all in reverse to what we're doing now. Where I've got a screen and all the students can see the screen.
Exactly.
But that's the way technology is developed. It's grown existentially in the last 5 years because everything will be done from a phone now. Never mind a laptop or a.
Well, this is it. Like I've mentioned that it's like part of culture. So if it had been a few years ago, it wouldn't have been something that would have been considered. But now everyone has a phone, so it's natural to kind of include it rather than try and stop people using it.
One of
these anyway.
That you find out, little things that you find out though. I've got students on who use the phone, and when I send feedback and I've used review on Word, you can't see it.
They can't see that.
It doesn't appear on the phone. So I want to modify that to do a bit of an adaptation for them so they can get the feedback. But
then it's about using those bits of technology for what they're appropriate to like achieve.
Using it appropriately and not just using it for using its sake sort of thing. That's your evaluation, you see.
So I've done that one. And then 2.1. So I need to get I know what's on it. So I've written a little bit about it. So here, the things on the ILP. So
exactly. You refer to your ILP on this one every time.
So he has like behavioural, and then so he needs to like have his own space and stuff like that.
That's
and
what
then the learning aspect is that he needs to be like continually challenged up to the point of him then needing a break.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to keep going with the subject. So then obviously all the lessons are written so that all the resources are created so that you can keep working with them.
Well, this is it, and this is where those needs are agreed in advance, so that everybody knows what's expected and the way it's got to be done, and the delivery as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, preparing the resources for the delivery of learning development, ensuring legislative, organisational, health and safety, welfare, equality and inclusion requirements are met. And that is equality and inclusion. You can give some case studies there, yeah, and put those in, and those will fit in very well with 2.2. Any adaptations to and use of technology within those resources to meet specific learning or development needs. And this is, again, where you've got a particular student with an issue that you're dealing with, how you actually go about that, and how adaptations have been made to either the equipment, the resource, or the way it's actually delivered, is what we're looking at there, yeah.
So I've written that, I've started writing that one, and I've written that there's like software versions of the equipment that we've used which get gradually more complex, but then there's two hardware ones, and like the fact that he's actually using them and turning dials and things like creates that connection and then makes him want to learn more. So then I've rewritten some of the lessons after that to incorporate them again so that it helps the learning. So that's what I've written about there.
Listen, that's your plan. Yeah. Those are your planned adaptations. So you can just refer to those and explain what they are, and that's sufficient for that, yeah. 2.4.
There's like notes and things that are provided for him.
Guidance for those that are using the resources, and that's very important. Some people or different levels will require different guidance. Some may need none at all. Some may have their own equipment and come in to use somebody else's equipment. Some have got learning difficulties, so will need guidance all the way through. So again, it's just an explanation really of how that is prepared and how you go about it. Yeah. And the last bit is purely down to you. It's an evaluation of the suitability of the resources that you've got, or that the school has got, and you may have to supplement those from your own equipment,
Yeah, and that's what I have to do.
Yeah, just explain how that works and how it happens.
So, is it all right for me to write that I borrow stuff from one place and take it to the other for an afternoon without them knowing?
This qualification's about you, Ben. The only people who are going to see this are you, me, and the IQA. And he'll only be seeing snapshots of it, to look at odd bits of units and things. So then
essentially what I'm going to write in here is that what they've got is great. What they could have if they were more specialised was obviously would be better. But they're more general, so then this is supplemented, which is only possible because I can do it.
Yeah.
But then maybe at the same time, if I wasn't there, there wouldn't be someone to teach those subjects.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they wouldn't need it. So
that's your evaluation. Yeah. You're making an evaluation there. What would happen? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they employed somebody else, then maybe they would have a different requirement or set of skills or whatever. So then they would teach to them. So it would be different. So,
but without it to be different, but whether it to be good or bad, better or not as good, is purely subjective.
Yeah, that's not the point. Because if it's different,
and that is the end of that unit.
I think I've pretty much got that. I've written my notes and stuff. I've done a little bit for each one, so I know what I'm kind of writing about. Apart from I haven't got any notes for the first one for 1.1, but that's
well, if you look at what I would do with that one, I think we've got something on the VLE. I'm just going to close that down a minute. I can show that actually altogether. Oops. Well, you've got the sheet on here anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll close that down as well for now. I'll go back to bringing that one in. Where have we gone? Here we are, yeah. I don't know whether this is one of that I've written or whether it's one that I've added from somewhere else. Yes, it's one of mine. Financial constraints, the cost of developing new resources, purpose of the resource. Resources need to assist learners in making connections between what they learn and practical application. I'm going to read through it. You can read it through yourself.
Well, just those bits there is exactly what we've just been talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's the principles of how you... the overall principles, not a detailed one, but the overall principles that you use on resource selection for a particular course or particular part of a course, so then the three that are analysed that I've done it in 1.2, so the health and safety and the cost, they're going to be included in that, aren't they? In that list. Yeah.
So 1.1's not actually going to be be very much, is it?
No. That's why it's only a short handout.
It's that introduction to it.
To actually cover that, yeah. If you see any of these handouts on there, if it's got my name on the bottom, I've put it in. If it's not, I've probably extracted it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just to give you an idea and an outline of what needs to be done on there. So I'll close that down. That's basically, it's on here on the VLE. There's some indicative content on there for you data as well. It's only like that amplification I had on the first 4 units, yeah. That is just about it, I think, on there.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm all right with that one.
Yeah.
I might just carry on working on it now because I've got quite a bit of it done.
Yeah. Again, it's a fairly straightforward unit. It looks complex when you look at what it's asking, but it is a fairly straightforward one. It's more straightforward than Unit 4 anyway, which needs a bit of thinking about.
Yeah. Well, I think because I've been designing stuff specifically for someone, it kind of plays.
And again, that really does help if you're in that situation and you've got obviously you've got the documentation to refer to. Just stick in as an appendix, once you've got your appendix list in, again, don't forget, don't name them all. Start from Unit 1 or whatever unit you did first, and the appendices as they crop up, just give them a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and carry on like that.
Yeah.
Because on your text, then when you're writing, you say refer to APP1. Yeah. You don't have to say what it is. You can carry on from there. If I want to look at APP1, I'll go and have a look at APP1 and see what it says. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll just briefly mention 11. This is one that I picked, and I wasn't sure about it. But again, it's looking at where you're working in partnership with anybody, or the school is. Yeah. And if you can get some information on there, usually, as I've mentioned earlier, the quality person in the organisation is usually aware of all the contacts and the people they deal with and so forth, and any partnerships they may have with any external people or, in fact, other schools. Yeah.
At the bigger place, they're is it they were underwritten by the uni that's near here, so they've got that partnership?
Yeah. That's the one you need to get for 11. It's all after LO1. It's which talks about partnership working and why it happens and so forth. You then need to pick a specific partnership, yeah. and who's involved in it, what they do, and what the process is, and what the outcomes are, what the expected outcomes are. It's all about that term partnership. We put that in because it covers. I think we did that, but purely for. I can't remember what we did it for now, but we selected the units that they would match up with nearly everybody. Yeah.
Mm.
So, and then obviously we move on this 13, 24, and 39, and that's it.
The equality and diversity one.
Yeah.
I've done that in like every single course I've ever done, so I'm sure I must have something that I can.
You may have loads of stuff that'll cover the requirements in there. Yeah. And of course, you've already covered it in Unit 1 to a certain extent as well.
Mm.
So there'll be evidence from Unit 1 that you can refer to. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Are you all right with that then, Ben? You okay to go ahead now with Unit 8?
Yeah, I think, as I say, I think I've pretty much got what I'm going to write. I know what I'm going to write, so...
Yeah. Well, don't worry. If you've got any issues with it, or you want to, you need any more suggestions or assistance with anything, just give us a text, yeah?
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
Okay, mate?
Yeah, cheers, Phil.
Okay, see you soon.
See you later, mate.
Bye now, Ben.